Well, welcome to today's podcast, and our title for today is Will You Go Out Without Knowing? So many people in life have to be in control. That's our natural tendency, isn't it? We want to know where we're going, we want to know why we're going there, and we want to know all the details of how it's going to work out. But the truth of the issue is this: when it comes to serving God and walking with Him, He often doesn't reveal to us where we're going or why we're going there. He just tells us to go. Because God knows things already in His plans that we don't know. In fact, if He revealed all those details to us in advance, we probably, with that knowledge, would in some way change the outcome. But God knows where we're going, and we need to simply know how to trust. In the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 8, we see Abraham as an example who was told to go to a land that God was going to give him, and God just sent him out. And it says in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 8, that he went out not knowing where he was going. And this is in Hebrews, the Hall of Faith chapter 11. You can see others that also went out in that chapter and followed God in great steps of faith as well. And our question today is, what steps of faith, what steps of simple direction is God telling you and I to take that He has not revealed to us all the details? Hey, it's not our job to know the details. It's just our job to trust Him and in faith move forward. Maybe you've gone out in this way before, and there's no logical answer possible. When anyone asks you, what are you doing? You don't really know. You just know that God cannot be wrong, and you know that you're supposed to follow Him. You don't even know what it is that you expect to do. You don't know what you're going to do. The only thing you know is that God knows what He is doing. I think one of the things we need to really be looking at this morning is asking God to examine our hearts and say, what is our attitude towards trusting You? Even if you're sending us into ventures that we're not even quite sure about, even if you're telling us to take adventures that we don't even know how they're going to end up, do we know and are we excited about the fact that we know, God, You are in control and You would not lead us in the wrong way? As we look in Luke chapter 12, we see this as well. We see, first of all, the parable of a rich fool in verse 13. It says that there was this guy in the crowd that said, "Teacher," when he saw Jesus, "tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me." But he said to him, "Man, who made me a judge or arbitrator over you?" And he said to them, "Take care and be on your guard against coveting, for one's life does not consist in just possessions." He told them a parable, saying that there was this rich man who produced plentifully, and he thought to himself, "What shall I do? For I have nowhere to store my crops." So what did he do? He said to himself, "I will tear down the barns that I have. I will build larger ones, and there I'm going to store all my grain and all my goods. And I will say to his soul," Jesus said, "Soul, you have ample goods laid up for many years. Relax." But God said to him, "Fool, this night your soul is required of you, and the things you have prepared, whose will they be?" So it is that the one who lays up treasure for himself and is not rich towards God. He goes on to then illustrate this truth. He says, don't be anxious for anything about your life, what it is you're going to eat, what it is you're going to wear, all of these things. He said, consider these ravens. They neither sow nor reap. They have neither storehouse nor barn, and yet God feeds them. Of how much more value are you than the birds? And which of you, by being anxious, could add a single hour to his span of life? If then you are not able to do as small a thing as that, why are you anxious about the rest? Consider the lilies, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. Yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. But if God so clothes the grass, which is alive in the field today, and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, O you of little faith? Do not seek what you are to eat and what you are to drink, nor be worried, for all the nations of the world seek after these things, and your Father knows that you need them. Instead, seek his kingdom, and these things will be added unto you. You know, I believe that all of us as Christians are to be entrepreneurish, we're to be adventurous, we're to be looking to be all that we can be in not only conduct and accomplishment, but in all the things that he allows us to achieve. But we are also to be non-profit organizations. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that we are to not make any money. But all the money and everything that we accomplish and everything that God sends us to do is put back into the kingdom. That's what a nonprofit is. It's not for personal gain, but it's for serving the cause. And God calls us to be kingdom builders, to use all our resources, whether it's monetary, whether it's our time, whether it's our talents, whatever it is, all of our resources are put into the not personal profit, but it's all into the kingdom. God tells us to go into all the world and to preach the gospel to every creature, training them, teaching them on all the commands that I've commanded you. And lo, I will be with you even unto the end of the age. What a great commission God has given us. Now, my question as we finish this up today is this. Will you go out and will you do what God is calling you to do? Even this week, starting right now. Will you go not even knowing where you're going, as Abraham did, but simply trusting and obeying God? Will you move forward in whatever God is challenging you to do? I want to challenge you to be praying. I want to challenge you to be inviting people to go to the church where you go. I want you to be asking God to expand your territory as Jabez prayed back in Scripture. Expand my territory so that I may be a greater influence for you, that more lives will be changed as a result of the fact that I exist. Give me that purpose, Lord, in my life. Oh, you're not just to be existing today. You're not just to be taking up space or sucking in oxygen and going out and breathing out carbon dioxide. You have a purpose. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let me rejoice and be glad in it. Why? Because God made us, God has direction for us, and we are to go out as he directs us, even if we don't know where we're going. When I was a child, I used to get in the car with my parents every day. And often, when I got in the car, I had no idea where we were going. Even if I knew a final destination, I really didn't know how to get there. I think one of the greatest fears that I can remember when it came time to when I was 16 years old and I was going to get my driver's license, one of the greatest fears was, would I really know how to get to the destinations of where I was going? Today we have something called a GPS. I know that when I go in the car, sometimes I joke that I'm not even sure if I could find my house without the GPS. We use it not only to know how to get somewhere, but we use it to know the fastest and most efficient way to get there as well. Because we don't know. And as we venture out in life, let's understand that God is the ultimate GPS. He knows how to get to the destinations that he has chosen, that he has appointed for us, and he knows the best route to get there. Often that route is not in any way similar to the route that you and I would choose to take, but God knows best. So today, my friend, it's my prayer for you that you will allow God to be that GPS, that you will look to him for all your direction, that you will spend time with him in prayer, that you will be dependent on him and you will follow his leading, that you won't say, no, I'm going to take this route instead, that you will trust him. Do not be anxious, because if we seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, everything else will be added unto us. God bless you. Have a fantastic day. Feel free to share this with a friend. Take care now.